Alex Thompson was known everywhere as a young billionaire with a golden future. At just 32, he owned tech companies, real estate, and luxury cars that turned heads wherever he went. His name appeared in business magazines, and people admired his confidence, success, and polished lifestyle. To many, Alex was a symbol of achievement. That afternoon, Alex walked hand in hand with his girlfriend, Sophia, through the busy market streets of the city. Sophia was elegant and beautiful, dressed in a simple but classy outfit that matched her calm personality. She smiled often, and her laughter sounded light and genuine. People turned to look at them, whispering about how perfect they looked together. They talked about their next vacation abroad, laughing about beaches, private flights, and expensive hotels. Alex spoke with excitement, describing the life he had built for himself. Sophia listened, smiling, enjoying the moment, and the man beside her. The market was noisy and full of life. Traders shouted prices, cars honked, women balanced baskets on their heads. The smell of fresh vegetables filled the air. It was a place Alex rarely visited anymore. He preferred quiet streets, clean buildings, and places where no one questioned his status. As they turned a corner, a familiar voice called out, "Alex, dear." "Alex." Alex froze for a brief second. His heart skipped. He knew that voice. He had grown up hearing it every day of his childhood. Sophia felt his grip tighten, but did not understand why. Ahead of them stood Mrs. Thompson, Alex's mother. She was a small woman with tired eyes and gentle hands hardened by years of work. On her head rested a large basket filled with fresh red tomatoes. Sweat ran down her face as she tried to balance the weight. "Alex, my son," she called again, smiling as she saw him clearly now. "Help me with this basket, dear." Alex felt a wave of panic rush through him. He looked around quickly. People were watching. Traders paused. A few recognized him. Without stopping, Alex kept walking. He smiled at Sophia and continued talking about their plans, pretending nothing had happened. Sophia slowed down slightly and looked back. Her eyes fell on Mrs. Thompson. She frowned gently. "Alex," she said softly, "isn't that your mum?" Alex swallowed hard. He hesitated for a second, then forced a small laugh. "No," he whispered quickly. "I think you're mistaken." Sophia stopped walking. "What?" she asked, surprised. Behind them, Mrs. Thompson called again, louder this time. "Alex, my son, please help me." The market went quiet for a moment. People turned fully to stare. Some whispered, others shook their heads. Alex felt heat rise to his face. He avoided looking back and tightened his grip on Sophia's hand, trying to pull her along. "Let's go," he said quickly. "We're late." But Sophia pulled her hand away. "Alex," she said firmly, "that is your mother. She's carrying a heavy basket. Why are you pretending not to see her?" Alex did not answer. His eyes stayed on the ground. Mrs. Thompson finally reached them. Her smile faded slightly, replaced by confusion and sadness. "Alex," she said quietly, standing in front of him. "Why are you walking past me?" Alex forced a weak smile. "Mum, hi," he said awkwardly. What are you doing here?" Mrs. Thompson adjusted the basket on her head. "I was selling tomatoes," she replied gently. "The basket is heavy today. I thought you could help me." Sophia did not wait. She stepped forward immediately. "Please, let me help you," she said kindly. She carefully lifted the basket from Mrs. Thompson's head and placed it on her own, struggling slightly but smiling through it. Mrs. Thompson looked at her with surprise and gratitude. "Thank you, my dear," she said warmly. Alex stood there, silent and ashamed, watching his girlfriend help the woman he had tried to deny. As they walked slowly toward Mrs. Thompson's small home nearby, Sophia broke the silence. "Alex," she said calmly, "you pretended not to see your own mother. Why?" Alex sighed deeply. His confident posture collapsed. "I didn't want you to see this," he admitted quietly. "I didn't want you to see where I came from." Sophia stopped walking and looked straight at him. "Your mother?" she asked. "Your roots?" Alex nodded, eyes still down. Mrs. Thompson said nothing. She only listened, her heart heavy but her face gentle. Sophia smiled softly. "I fell in love with you for who you are," she said. "But who you are includes where you came from. Loving yourself also means loving your mother." Alex felt tears burn behind his eyes. For the first time in years, his success felt empty. That day, something inside Alex began to crack, and the walk he wanted to forget became the moment that changed everything. That evening, Alex could not sleep. He lay awake in his large, quiet bedroom, staring at the ceiling. The house was beautiful, too quiet. The silence felt heavier than any basket of tomatoes his mother had ever carried. Sophia had gone home earlier than planned. She did not argue or shout. Her calm disappointment hurt more than anger ever could. Alex turned on his side and closed his eyes, but memories refused to leave him. He remembered his childhood clearly now, things he had pushed aside for years. He remembered waking up early to help his mother prepare for the market. Mrs. Thompson would wake him gently, calling his name with the same soft voice that had called him that afternoon. "Alex, wake up, my son. The sun is coming." He remembered carrying small baskets while his mother balanced the heavier ones on her head. He remembered how she smiled even when business was slow, how she encouraged him to study hard. "You will not sell tomatoes forever," she would say. "You will be great." And she had been right. But somewhere along the way, as success came, Alex began to feel uncomfortable with his past. When he bought his first expensive car, he stopped visiting the market. When his company grew, he moved his mother to a better neighborhood, but never asked how she felt staying at home all day. Mrs. Thompson, however, hated sitting idle. She returned to the market quietly, selling tomatoes not because she had to, but because she wanted to feel useful. Alex never asked. Now, her sad eyes haunted him. The next morning, Alex woke early. For the first time in years, he did not check his phone immediately. Instead, he got dressed simply and drove toward his mother's house. Mrs. Thompson was surprised when she opened the door and saw him standing there. "Alex?" she said, shocked. "Is everything all right?" "Yes, Mom," he replied quickly. I wanted to see you." She stepped aside and let him in. The small living room smelled of tomatoes and dry wood. Everything was neat but old. Alex sat down, feeling like a stranger in a place that once felt like home. Mrs. Thompson brought him a cup of tea. "You did not call before coming," she said gently. "I know," Alex replied. "I should have." They sat in silence for a while. Finally, Alex spoke. "Mum, about yesterday," he began, his voice shaking. "I am sorry." Mrs. Thompson looked at him quietly. "I know," she said softly. Alex looked up, surprised. "You know?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "I know, my son. I saw the fear in your eyes, not anger." Alex swallowed. "I was ashamed," he admitted. "Ashamed of the market, ashamed of the basket, ashamed of being seen." Mrs. Thompson reached out and placed her hand over his. "My son," she said, "there is no shame in honest work. This basket paid your school fees. These tomatoes fed you. They built the life you now enjoy." Tears filled Alex's eyes. "I forgot," he whispered. "No," she corrected him gently. "You did not forget. You just looked away." That afternoon, Alex drove Sophia to lunch. She noticed immediately that something was different. "You look tired," she said. "I didn't sleep," Alex replied. "I went to see my mom." Sophia nodded, listening. "I was wrong," Alex continued. "And I don't want to be that man again." Sophia smiled softly. "Then don't be," she said. "Fix it." "How?" he asked. Sophia looked out the window, thoughtful. "Start with respect," she replied. "Not with money, with presence." The next day, Alex did something he had not done in years. He went to the market. Not in a luxury car, not with security, just Alex. The market buzzed as usual. People stared when they recognized him. Whispers followed him. But Alex did not care. He found his mother arranging tomatoes. "Mom?" he said gently. Mrs. Thompson looked up and froze. "Alex?" she asked. He smiled. "Let me help you today," he said. People watched in disbelief as the billionaire rolled up his sleeves and lifted baskets. His hands were not used to the weight, but he did not complain. Mrs. Thompson's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness this time, but pride. That day, Alex learned something important. The basket was not heavy. The shame was, and he was finally ready to drop it. The news spread faster than Alex expected. By midday, people in the market were whispering excitedly. Some took pictures from a distance. Others stared openly as the young billionaire lifted baskets of tomatoes, arranged them neatly, and greeted customers politely. "Is that not Alex Thompson?" one woman asked. "Yes, the billionaire," another replied. "That is his mother." Mrs. Thompson noticed the attention and grew uncomfortable. "My son," she said quietly, "people are watching you. You do not have to do this." Alex smiled gently. "I do," he replied. "Not because people are watching, because you are my mother." Still, the whispers followed him everywhere. That evening, Alex returned home tired, his hands sore, but his heart strangely light. He felt peace, something money had not given him in a long time. But peace did not last. The next morning, his phone exploded with messages. Alex Thompson spotted selling tomatoes. Billionaire seen in market with poor woman. Is this a publicity stunt? Social media was on fire. Some praised him. Respect to him. Never forget your roots. Others mocked him. Is this supposed to make us feel emotional? Next thing, he will start begging for sympathy. Alex read the comments quietly. For a moment, old fear returned. Had he made a mistake? At his office later that day, the tension was thick. His assistant hesitated before speaking. "Sir, the board members want to see you." Inside the meeting room, faces were serious. One of the investors spoke first. "Alex, your public image is changing." "Yes," Alex replied calmly. "This market behavior," another added, "it may affect how people see the company." Alex leaned forward. "If helping my mother affects the company," he said, "then maybe the company needs to change." The room fell silent. That evening, Alex met Sophia again. They sat at a quiet cafe. She studied him carefully. "You knew this would happen," she said, "didn't you?" Alex nodded. "I did." "And you still went to the market?" "Yes." Sophia smiled slowly. "Good," she said, "because this is where love becomes real when it costs something." Alex exhaled deeply. "I was afraid you would be embarrassed." Sophia reached for his hand. "I was disappointed yesterday," she said honestly. "But today, I am proud." That night, Alex decided to go further. He returned to the market early the next morning, not just to help his mother, but to listen. He spoke to traders. He learned their struggles. He heard stories of school fees, hospital bills, and daily survival. For the first time, he understood what his success had shielded him from. As he worked, an elderly man approached him. "You are the rich man's son," the man said. "Yes," Alex replied. "You walked past your mother before," the man continued gently. "But today, you walk beside her." Alex bowed his head. "I am trying to do better." The man nodded. "That is all a mother wants." Later that afternoon, Mrs. Thompson suddenly felt dizzy. The sun was hot and the work was heavy. Alex rushed to her side. "Mom," he said, worried, "you should rest." She smiled weakly. "I am fine." But she was not. Alex immediately took her to the hospital. As she lay on the bed, Alex sat beside her, holding her hand, the same hands that once carried him and fed him. "I am sorry," he whispered. "For the years I pretended not to see you." Mrs. Thompson squeezed his hand gently. "You are here now," she said. "That is enough." Alex's eyes filled with tears. Outside the hospital room, Sophia watched quietly. She saw a man no longer hiding behind wealth, a man learning humility. And she knew this was only the beginning. Mrs. Thompson stayed in the hospital for 2 days. The doctor said it was exhaustion and dehydration. Nothing serious, only years of hard work, finally demanding rest. Alex did not leave her side. He slept on a chair, answered work calls quietly in the hallway, and personally made sure she ate and rested. Nurses whispered among themselves when they realized who he was. "That is her son?" one asked in disbelief. "Yes," another replied. "The billionaire." Alex heard them, but for once he did not feel proud or embarrassed. He only felt grateful that his mother was alive. On the 3rd day, Mrs. Thompson was discharged. Alex insisted she stay with him for a while. "I have space," he said gently, "and I want you close." Mrs. Thompson hesitated. "Your big house? Will I be comfortable there?" "You made me comfortable my whole life," Alex replied. "Now it's my turn." When they arrived at Alex's mansion, Mrs. Thompson stood at the gate quietly, looking at the tall walls and shining floors. "I never imagined I would enter a place like this," she said softly. Alex smiled sadly. I imagined it many times. I just forgot to invite you. Inside, Mrs. Thompson moved slowly, touching things carefully as if afraid to break them. Alex noticed and felt another stab of regret. That evening, he sat with Sophia in the living room after his mother had gone to bed. I keep thinking about that day, Alex said. The way I walked past her. Sophia nodded. Shame has a loud voice, she said. But humility speaks louder when we finally listen. The next morning, Alex did something unexpected. He called a press conference. His assistant looked shocked. Sir, are you sure? Yes, Alex said firmly. I'm done hiding. The news spread quickly. Journalists gathered, cameras flashed. The same people who had mocked him online now wanted answers. Alex stood calmly in front of the microphones. I am not here to explain my wealth, he began. I am here to correct my mistake. The room went silent. A few days ago, he continued, I pretended not to see my mother in the market. I was ashamed, not of her, but of myself. Gasps filled the room. My mother raised me selling tomatoes. She paid my school fees with that basket. Every success I have came from her sacrifice. He paused, breathing deeply. I forgot my roots. And forgetting your roots is the fastest way to lose yourself. The reporters listened carefully now. I will not apologize for helping my mother, Alex said, and I will not hide her again. The press conference went viral within hours. But this time, the comments were different. That took courage. That is real accountability. This is the kind of billionaire we need. At the market, people watched the video on their phones. Traders nodded with approval. Mrs. Thompson saw the video later that evening. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You did not have to do this, she said softly. I did, Alex replied. I hurt you in public. I needed to heal it in public too. The next week, Alex returned to the market again. But this time, the atmosphere had changed. People greeted him warmly. Some clapped. Others thanked him for speaking honestly. He helped his mother sell tomatoes, laughing as customers joked with him. You still remember how to count? One woman teased. I'm learning again, Alex replied with a smile. Sophia stood nearby, watching everything quietly. Later that day, she pulled Alex aside. You know, she said, many men would have protected their image instead of their mother. Alex looked thoughtful. I almost did, he admitted. But losing you would have hurt more than losing my image. Sophia smiled. You didn't lose me. You found yourself. That night, Alex sat alone in his study, thinking deeply. He realized something important. Success had made him powerful, but humility was making him human again. And the lesson he once tried to avoid was now shaping the man he was becoming. But life still had one final test waiting. The market was unusually quiet that morning. Alex noticed it immediately as he and his mother stepped onto the familiar street. Traders paused, conversations slowed. Eyes followed them, not with shock this time, but with respect. Mrs. Thompson adjusted her wrapper and looked around nervously. Why is everyone looking at us like this? She asked softly. Alex smiled and gently took the basket of tomatoes from her head. Because today, he said, we walk together. She looked at him, confused but comforted. They moved slowly through the market. Alex greeted people by name. He helped arrange tomatoes, weighed them carefully, and collected money. He laughed easily, no longer stiff or embarrassed. At one point, a young boy ran up to Mrs. Thompson. Grandma, he said excitedly, is it true your son is the billionaire from the news? Mrs. Thompson smiled shyly. Yes, he is. The boy looked at Alex with wide eyes. You still help her? He asked. Alex knelt down to the boy's level. She helped me first, he said. The boy nodded, as if he understood something important. Later that afternoon, Alex gathered the traders together. He stood on a wooden crate and cleared his throat. I am not here as a billionaire today, he said. I am here as a son. The crowd listened. For many years I walked past my roots because I thought success meant leaving them behind. I was wrong. He turned and looked at his mother. My mother carried me, fed me, and raised me with dignity. This basket of tomatoes built my future. He faced the crowd again. That is why I am launching a market support program for education, healthcare, and small loans so no child will feel ashamed of honest work. The crowd erupted in applause. Mrs. Thompson covered her mouth, overwhelmed. My son, she whispered, tears streaming. You have done more than enough. Alex shook his head. I am only beginning. That evening, Alex and Sophia sat together on the balcony of his home. I almost lost everything important, Alex said quietly. Sophia nodded. But you chose wisely in the end. He turned to her. I want to build a life where we never pretend, he said. Where we stand by family, no matter who is watching. Sophia smiled. That is the only kind of future worth building. Weeks later, Mrs. Thompson no longer carried baskets every day. She still visited the market, but now to supervise, talk, and laugh. Alex still visited too. Not for cameras, not for praise, but for memory. One afternoon, as they walked side by side, Mrs. Thompson stopped and looked at him. That day, she said softly, when you walked past me, I was hurt. But today, I am proud. Alex held her hand tightly. I will never walk ahead of you again, he said. And he meant it. From that day on, whenever Alex walked through the market, people remembered him not as the billionaire who once pretended not to see his mother, but as the man who turned around, walked back, and carried the basket with her. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you like the story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.